Hello and welcome to the No One Asked You podcast. This series I am once again joined by my wonderful co-host, That Darn Kitty.
Dorkus and I are sharing our experience reading The Way of Kings for the first time. Each episode we will summarize what we've read and discuss the experience along the way.
This is Storming the Archives, The Way of Kings, and today we discuss Chapter 52.
Chapter 52!
A Highway to the Sun. Adolin and Renarin tie Dalinar to a chair in preparation for a high storm in the ensuing vision. A week has passed since Dalinar told the two that he intended to retire. Adolin feels tremendous shame. For all his arguments to his father, he never intended him to retire. The vision starts. For the time being, he is determined to play out the visions, as he believes they're intended to be experienced, rather than to fight them by otherwise refusing to engage. This time, he is a guard in a single-walled fortress crafted from red stone. The attire of the other guards are antiquated, cloth skirts, leather, or copper. Though the other guards appear relaxed, Dalinar knows he has only ever been shown visions of consequence. This one would be no different. He warns the other guards to stay alert. Thanks to his alertness, he was the first to see an approaching army. Soldiers gather. Dalinar hears someone refer to their location as Feverstone Keep. Someone says they can't be the enemy, having gotten through their lines. The Radiants were out there, fighting. A scout is sent out and returns with a white flag signaling friends approaching. This does not reassure Dalinar. Dalinar leaves the wall to seek out an officer. He's shocked to see the officer is a Dark Eyes. The scout reports that the coming force are the Radiants. The dark-eyed officer is concerned. They should be fighting the Devils on the front lines. The Radiants break into a run toward Feverstone Keep. It seems as if they're going to attack. Dalinar gets a look and sees them, men and women, in shardplate charging in line. He notes they don't have their shard blades out. Dalinar estimates there to be about 200 shard bearers. Alethkar owns some 20 blades, Yakaved a similar number, and maybe 40 in the rest of the world. The Radiants slow down, then they each summon their blades. Dalinar begins to fear what is to come. One shard bearer steps up, then drives the blade point first into the stone plane. He removes his helmet and shard plate. The rest of the Radiants follow suit. Dalinar leaves the keep, approaching the Radiants. He notes their diversity: men, women, Alethi, Shin, and more. He asks why they've done this. Is this the day of recreance? None respond. A voice tells him that these were the first. The voice cannot help him. The night of sorrows will come, and the true desolation, the Everstorm. Dalinar must read the book and unite them. Behind him, the soldiers from the keep have all broken out into violent fighting, each soldier attempting to secure a blade and plate for themselves. The vision ends. Adolin continues his conversation with Dalinar, insistent that Dalinar not retire. He insists as long as Dalinar accepts that the visions aren't real, he wouldn't need to retire. But Dalinar doesn't accept that they aren't real, just that he is not reliable. They discuss the old magic. Adolin and Renarin are surprised Dalinar asked something of the Night Watcher. Dalinar won't tell them what he asked for, though do seem to involve the memories of his wife. Dalinar is anguished that he doesn't know what to do. Sadeas is nearing the end of his investigation. At Adolin's suggestion, Dalinar orders the troops be prepared to defend their war camp should Sadeas turn on Dalinar. Dalinar feels as if he's betraying the voice by doing this, but he won't forsake wisdom. The three of them determine to figure out whether or not what he sees in the visions are real. They invite Navani to write down Dalinar's recollection of the vision. She will reach out to Yasna and ask for her help. Navani tries to speak privately with Dalinar. As much as Dalinar would love to be with Navani privately, he begs her to leave. All he has is his honor. He will not be made a hypocrite. Let's start with the epigraph, shall we?
Indeed.
I'm standing over the body of a brother. I'm weeping. Is that his blood or mine? What have we done? Dated Vevenev, 1173, 107 seconds pre-death. Subject, an out-of-work Veddan sailor. Immediately, with hindsight of what happens in this chapter, I think this is a very poignant death rattle carrying this idea of brother attacking brother. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I get it. When I read this, I was like, when is this? Is this the future or the past? That's that's what I'm wondering. Because we're still not clear.
I think it's the present,
Yep, the
isn't it?
present. Well, we're still not clear on what year it is.
It's
So,
close to 1173 though. We're
mm,
at the very least we're in the same epic, yeah, or
mm-hmm.
epoch.
Yeah, epoch. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, focused on is what have we done? So I'm like, what's happening? Is there something that we don't know yet that's occurring?
Yeah, I mean, we also know that Kaladin has heard like two death rattles that we're
Mm-hmm.
aware of
Mm-hmm.
in this book. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's present. I don't know if it's connected to the Everstorm coming or not. Again, Kaladin did not act in any way surprised. Granted, he was in stressful situations at the time,
Mm.
but
Yeah, and
but
as a death rattle though, it's not, it's like it's saying I'm standing over the body of a brother. I'm weeping. Is this? I guess yeah, it is the final thoughts. What is that? Like they've just come. Have that? Has they? This kind of reads as if like the what do we call it? Like that they've had rage overcome them, and then now he's just woken up out of it. So the thrill has overcome him, and he's like, "What's happening? What have we
yeah,
done?" Yeah,
yeah.
and it's not. Yeah, it's not a Yasna. It's not a Yasna note, obviously.
No. And this, well, especially since we have that previous epigraph of one of our own Ardents,
Mm-hmm.
which is noteworthy. Relir didn't have a death rattle when he died, for whatever that's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this as a whole just smacks of some sort of brother against brother, which is very biblical, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually want to carry on with that biblical brother against brother idea and push it forward a little bit. This chapter opens a week after Dalinar tells Adolin and Renarin of his intention to retire. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I really lived in this idea this week of Dalinar as the ideal ruler, the perfect king, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
because you get so many of these stories of kings who die and there are feuding brothers and one brother kills the other. You get that in Egyptian mythology, Cain and Abel, again for the brother and brother. The
Mm-hmm.
Flavian dynasty after Vespasian, the other his two sons, and I wonder like if a king has two sons and the succession is questionable, or if you know that one son is of that temperament to be jealous and sneaky and conniving. Not that Renarin is that. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that. Dalinar seems to have raised wonderful kids. Um, I wonder if a king were to retire early to ensure the line of succession, how that might affect what happens once that retired king passes. Does it solidify his chosen heir's position, or does it just prolong the inevitable Game of Thrones, if you will? What do you think?
Mm, yeah. Does it, like, do they get used to it and then continue, or is the father's life just the only thing that actually holds whatever decision he made?
Yeah, because God
Yeah.
damn it, Viserys,
Mm-hmm.
he should have named Rhaenyra his
Mm-hmm.
hand if he really wanted her to rule.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's a House of the Dragon gripe I have with Viserys, who was a way better king than people give him credit for. um,
Mm.
Spitting those hot takes. But yeah, again, like when he became too sick to lead, knowing that the half the realm was against Rhaenyra being queen, he should have named
Mm.
her the hand to get the realm used to her.
Yes.
And there you go.
And
So
yeah,
I
build her up. Yeah, that really, I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that really helps. That does work. But it seemed like he was just keeping her, like he named her for some other reason. It didn't actually involve that she must rule. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, my impression was that he named her because he loved his wife, her mother,
Mm.
and wanted to honor her in that way. And Rhaenyra shouldn't have. This is not a hot D stream.
Mhm.
We can talk for hours on that, I'm sure, and should sometime. But the point being, I just really sat in this. Dalinar is the ideal leader, I think, and not by accident, it seems.
Yeah.
Adolin feels terrible because he didn't expect Dalinar to want to retire for all the nagging that he did.
Yeah, what he just wanted his dad to, I don't know, to just
Be the
suck it up.
Blackthorn.
Yeah. He's just like, just do the thing. No, I don't mean step down. Oh, crap. Oops. And I did like I didn't say you're insane, actually, you did.
Well,
You
you
did
did
say that.
actually, yeah. That was a cute barb.
Yeah. He's like, well, I didn't mean it. It's like, well, you said it, okay, and you did mean it actually, but you just didn't get what you wanted from it. That's all.
Yeah.
He is still a bit of a spoiled brat, and Renarin comes off as a lot smarter,
I agree. And
a lot more measured.
yeah, and again, going with this brother against brother idea, I do get the
Mm.
sense that Adolin and Renarin are very close, that Renarin would probably do everything he could to help Adolin. I don't think Adolin's ready for it, though. He's still,
Mm-mm.
like, way too young, I think,
Yeah.
for it.
Mm.
But of course, they have this conversation, like, right into one of his visions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what an excellent vision. Am I right?
Yes, very much so. We got some confirmations.
Yep.
I was like, whoa, is this the last one? Because it feels like it's said all it needs to say, but I don't want it to be.
Yeah. Now, obviously, I tend to have Rome on the brain, but did you get the sense from the large red stone, sheer and straight and practically built, and the use of copper and antiquity? Did you feel like this was a Roman vibe at all? Because usually I get
No.
Asian inspired, but this one felt
Oh,
a little Roman to me.
nah, I just had the antiquity part. I didn't have a certain geography in mind. I was just, okay, he has redstone and, yeah.
Architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So I guess that's something that I put onto it that may or may
Mm-hmm.
not have necessarily been intended, but that's fine. Antiquated uniform, a cloth skirt, which I had imagined kind of as a tunic, and then the use of bronze and everything. Dalinar thinks to himself, okay, I'm going to play along with these visions. I'm not just going to like go sit on the toilet until the high storm
Mm-hmm.
ends, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is a bit wise.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting to have that description of it's difficult for him to remember he's sitting in his chair and all of that, because I'm like, okay, well, could he not communicate what he's going through somehow to them? Keep in mind that that something is, that you could translate and tell your sons what's going on, but
Well, he speaks gibberish.
yes, that's what I was going to say. But afterwards, we hear it is in fact gibberish. He can't do that. So that's out of the question.
Right. I'm going to jump a little bit ahead here for a moment to say, building on that idea, Kitty, how have they not like talked about what's been in the visions before in this much detail or thought to write it down? I mean, I can guess they wouldn't want to write it down because they haven't wanted to involve any women
Scribes, yeah.
scribes in the thing yet, but I feel like I just felt a bit of skepticism that they wouldn't talk a little bit more in depth about the events. In fact, by the end of the chapter, when they're relaying it to Navani, like as I'm reading through the chapter the first time, I half expected Dalinar to talk about some of his other visions, and I thought Sanderson would use this as an opportunity to fill us in on some extra stuff, which didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
Yeah,
thought was interesting.
I also thought we would then. I thought we would at least get not details of previous visions, but just a confirmation that he's also telling her about previous visions. I didn't think we would get descriptions, but just letting us know, signaling to us that it's gone beyond just this vision now. But the way I understood it, with the way I explained it to myself, was, yeah, Dalinar has really tried to keep this under wraps, and he is kind of he's confused and ashamed of it. So speaking about what he sees is not, it's, first of all, there's Adolin is not interested in what he sees because it's
That's
not real
true.
as far as he's concerned. Renarin hasn't really considered it. So discussing what's in the visions just would not have occurred to the kids, because they're just like, well, he's just mad. And then
It's fair.
Dalinar,
It
on the
would be
other hand,
playing into the delusions.
yes, and Dalinar is worried and confused and not sure about whether he believes it or not, and does not want to appear weak, so he's not going to talk about it. He's not going to describe it. He's not going to his kids like, well, I don't know if it's true or not. It's only now that
That he's assuming it
they're
might
kind
not
of,
be.
yeah, because now it's come to this head that, no, listen, you're going to abdicate because of it. Now we're going to have to figure this out. And I like that he, in this chapter as well, he admits, like, no, I cannot ignore these visions. I can't. Whether I'm insane or not, I cannot continue this way. So I'm going to have to abdicate, and I'm going to follow these visions or whatever on my own in this way. He can't be false.
Right.
And Adolin is just Adolin just wants him to shrug it off, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just not, I'm glad that that's not going to happen. So yeah, I understood why they hadn't spoken about it before.
Dad, compartmentalize your Alzheimer's, please.
Yeah, like, and he's just, yeah. So he's worried about it happening to him on the field of battle, all of this kind of stuff. And considering the society he's in, yeah, showing any kind of weakness is a problem. So discussing this with anyone does not make sense.
Yeah, I think that's all fair and valid. So he's in the vision. He has determined to live them out. Unfortunately, whomever it is that he's inhabiting in this vision is not particularly well liked. So some efforts to garner some information don't go as well as he'd have hoped. People sort of turn away from him, which I thought was humorously written. I don't think it was intended to be funny, but I found it chuckle-worthy at least.
Well, I find it quite entertaining as well, because he gives orders and things like that, and just because of the way he gives them orders, some people end up following them, and they're like, wait, hold on. So that happens as well. What I wanted to ask you is, do you think this, like, I mean, he runs out and things like that, he takes actions. Do you think this is a representation of exactly what happened, including what this guy did? Or is he like kind of an agent that's able to move around in these scenarios without changing history?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, yeah. Like, is he possessing somebody and making them do something? And in the past, that's actually what happened? Or is it just a vision?
I think we've had this conversation before, and my recollection is that you leaned in a little bit to the Wheel of Time essence of what could be happening here, which you're more familiar with than I am. The truth is, I'm not sure. I did imagine, because you know me, I like to play things forward in my mind. I imagined being this leaf guy, this actually happening, like Dalinar inhabits him and we're watching the actual history. And then he just like wakes up to everyone fighting and he has no idea what just happened or why everyone's fighting over these shard blades and stuff, which would suck because he missed his opportunity for it. But I think it's probably actually a memory. Like, if he just picked a direction and started walking, he might, like, the world might lose some detail, or there might be a barrier, or the voice would tell him turn back, or something to that effect.
Return to play area. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's more of like a genetic memory type thing, which I think is what you had said
Yeah.
with the Wheel of Timey thing. I don't
Yeah, well,
necessarily
with the
think that he's in his ancestor's body, but
no, with the
some.
Wheel of Time thing, yeah, with the Wheel of Time thing, they don't they are basically riding along and watching. But Dalinar is making decisions and taking actions of his own, yeah, as if he possesses the person's body.
I think it's kind of like a Westworld situation, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to phrase the question is it like a sliver or, like a side universe for a second, like that's anyway, I don't know if we'll ever figure out which one it is, but we're getting information from this anyway. Poor Leaf didn't get a shard blade anyway.
Indeed. Anyway, it seems like an innocuous night, an uneventful night, rather, but Dalinar knows he only has visions of consequence, so he tells the other guards to stay alert, and he is the first one to see forces coming toward the keep. I admit, I got played this chapter. I was expecting a slaughter, like an attack
Yes.
on the keep.
Yes. I thought that was there was going to be this kind of, what do you call it, like this was the betrayal, that they actually came and killed their allies. That kind of thing. Also, just a note about the weather. They make they make comments about the weather, that it's winter, whatever, and
For
they
like
say
6 weeks
winter.
or something.
Yeah, it was. He said 8 weeks, I think it was, and that was 40 days. So he's like 40 days of winter, and that was interesting. So it's like, okay, how different was the world then?
Yeah, and that line, obviously my mind's going to go straight to Germ and the extremely long winters and George R. R. Martin's promise that the seasonal cycle will be fixed by the end of the book. So I sort of transpose that idea here and wonder what messed up the cycles. So I
But they're commenting on how long the winter is as well. So I wonder if that has what that has to do. It's just a note, like weather cycle and state of the world as well in this book.
Yes. Dalinar hears a little bit of wondering about what's coming, and essentially the Radiants are supposed to be fighting the devils at the front line. When I hear devils, I think that's a very specific word Sanderson used. It wasn't capitalized, so I don't necessarily. So I wonder why they didn't choose to say Voidbringer or something to that effect. I think it was intended here to invoke the Voidbringers, but not necessarily by the character himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and not confirm it.
Yeah.
And also I mean, would they say Voidbringer if it was Voidbringer? It's like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It would be very clunky.
Yeah.
They're fighting the Voidbringers. Like that they wouldn't say that. I don't think, even if they are referring to them.
Yeah. And
They're
I
fighting
think
the
back.
enemy. They're fighting the assholes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think back to the prelude with the thunderclasts and so on. And I guess I kind of expected during a desolation a much more bigger, more elemental um, things to just simply say they're fighting the devils on the front lines. I point being, it was an interesting choice of words and lack of capitalization there. So Dalinar fairly thinks it's probably a trap that's coming. He gets the name Feverstone Keep, which is obviously going to be important for later. And he walks by the commander, and he's shocked that the commander is dark-eyed. Racist Dalinar.
Yes, well, he doesn't realize that actually, yeah, that that's not how the world ran before. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, they're treating him like a brat. It's look, this is all he knew. So it would stand out to him. So that's a revelation that he needs to think about. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
the world was not like this before.
Yeah, this is definitely, again, kind of jumping forward a little bit. This is, in a way, the diversity chapter with
Mm-hmm.
so much emphasis placed on the diversity of the Radiants.
Mm-hmm.
Men, women, Shin, Alethi,
Yeah.
etc. And again, I think that plays into the voices telling Dalinar to unite all of them, not just
Mm.
Alethkar.
Yeah, that's true. But I suppose a united Alethkar could hopefully
Help.
unite everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if this is what you were going to mention, but when he sees that captain or whatever, they mention, when he hears an excerpt of conversation, there's
Windrunner.
reference to the order of the stone wards and a large number of windrunners. So there's like
Mm-hmm.
two different kind of groups mentioned there, and it's like all on foot. So yeah, they might have orders and things like that.
Yes. I don't know much about the Order of the Stone Wards, but we've heard about Windrunners before, and I think that's what Kaladin did in that chapter,
Mm.
wasn't it?
What Kaladin? Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
men
We ride
ride
the
the
storms.
storms no longer.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think that's what Kaladin is, a Windrunner.
Maybe the windrunners are the ones that fell from the sky as well, because we had people on
Hmm.
foot. But then he's no, well, then he says all on foot. So
Yeah. So then the word gets back that it's the Radiants, and there's about 200 of them, and they start charging at the keep. And again, me going through it the very first time, I'm like, oh shit, this will be a slaughter. They will attack.
hmm
This is a betrayal.
yeah,
um,
that's what I thought the betrayal would be. I thought that was how big it was, is that they turned on them.
mhm. It's funny because I think we had a conversation the other day about how many shard blades there were in the world.
hmm
Dalinar basically suggests there's something like 80 known in the world, 20 Alethkar, 20 Yakaved, and 40 to match those 40 elsewhere
mm
scattered about. But there's 200 here. These aren't even all of the Radiants. These are, according to the voice, just the first, which
hmm
makes one wonder what happened to the rest of the Shard Blades.
hmm
Do many of the Shard Blade owners just happen to have collected multiples? I can't imagine that's the case. I mean, it might be one of those wealth creates wealth type situation where if you have a shard blade, it's easy to get a second and then a third. And I can understand why one might want to hoard them, but
hmm
I get the sense it's more likely that they magically disappeared. Not
or were
literally, I
buried or
mean
something.
mysteriously. Yeah,
Mm.
that went missing.
hmm
But anyway, the 200 some odd radiants start charging, and Dalinar is smart. He notes that they don't have their blades out, but then they do. And one by one, they start casting them into the ground, into the stone. And I'm reading that and I'm thinking, this is just like in the prelude with the heralds. And
mm.
there's clearly mirroring going on between then and here. There's something very cyclical about it. There's something to it. I don't have the vocabulary, I think, to articulate here, as seems to happen frequently. Ironic, considering this is a show where we discuss these things. What it is I want to articulate, other than to say, I think there's something important emphasized in the repetition of these events.
Yeah, same sort of abandoning post thing,
Yeah.
abandoning a fight thing in a certain way, like giving up the blade, leaving.
Yeah. and then the immediate subsequent bloodthirstiness of those around who scramble for the power.
Mm-hmm.
I will say also, I wondered if they had given up here because they realized that the heralds abandoned them, because this is presumably
Yeah.
after the heralds gave up their oath, abandoned their oath
Mm-hmm.
pact, and this is supposedly the Everstorm coming, at least within this time frame period. So I'm wondering if like they're all fighting on the front lines, either thinking, "Oh my god, the heralds tricked us. They said
Mm-hmm.
that they defeated it last time and here it is again, and they're not coming. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? We can't possibly win." Is something that I imagined.
Yeah, they've had some sort of revelation that's made them abandon their fight.
Yeah. But here's the thing. They must have won. Like the world must have won against the Everstorm at that point, because
Or
obviously we're still
whatever. I don't know about it being the Everstorm against some sort of desolation.
something bad was happening. I guess I
Mm-hmm.
had presumed, and it's not specifically stated, but I had presumed it was a desolation.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, it had to have been beaten, because we're here today talking about things that happen
Mm-hmm.
after, unless the desolation is not as desolation-y as we're being led to believe, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah, and look, the Radiants. This could be the last time the Radiants were on their side, and then the reason that they won at all is because humans took the shard blades and the shard plate. But
So,
the thing is, as
yeah,
well, this light in the
yeah,
shard blades and the shard, it
yes,
goes
it
away.
disappears. Yeah, so as they're plunging their blades into the ground and abandoning their stuff, the light fades,
Hmm.
and that's clearly noteworthy.
Yeah, that's like that. That's more than just abandoning it. It's like it's something is removed from them. Some power, their power, is removed from it. But I don't. Where do they go? Because
Yeah,
they've got their own. It seems like they've got have their own power themselves. So yeah, again, where did they go? Are
yeah.
they there? And again, this supports that theory that you had of it's like, well, the light eyes are descendants of the radiants, at least in Alethkar, because the radiants had these really, really, really light eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they're descendants of, the Feverstone Keep folks who are fighting for the Shard Blades and get
Mm-hmm.
them and become Light Eyes. So it could be either
Yeah.
or a mix of both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also, all the nations are represented in these radiant knights
Mm.
radiant, and it's like how did you become a knight radiant, a radiant knight? That we still don't know that as well.
Right. So then it gets into the part which is what does have me thinking this is a Westworld type situation
Mm-hmm.
where if he strays too far, you get less definition. He runs out to ask the Radiants, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?" And none of them answer. They just kind of turn away. And that's when the voice starts talking to him, and it basically says, "I can't help you. These events, this was the first of this happening. I can't be of much help, but the desolation is coming." We hear it called the Night of Sorrows for the first time, I think.
Now it says they are the first. So this is also the thing that I was checking is this voice, right? It's a voice, and then the person who is speaking to him it's Dalinar looked up to see one of the knights had stopped beside him. It was the man who looked Alethi. So that it's a person speaking to him, and then I don't know if the voice changes or not, but it turns into the voice of what he thought was the Almighty or whatever, the the thing that talks to him in these visions. So I don't know if it takes on this guy's, it speaks through this man,
Well, I think so,
but
because that's what happened
initially, yeah.
with Taffa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the other
So
vision?
yeah, so it's just coming through this Alethi guy. The thing is, he says they are the first, okay? they were the first and they were also the last. So I don't, because initially
Hmm.
you said they were the first, and then so presumably all of them did this, but he says they were the first and they were also the last. I don't know
Well, again, now
what he
I'm
means here.
coping because I didn't remember
Mm,
that part of the sentence, but
mm,
perhaps it was like they were the first to abandon their oath and the last of the Radiants, maybe?
mm,
Like, no
yeah,
more recruits after that point. But that could
yeah.
also just be cope again on
No,
my
that makes
part.
sense. And what the hell does recreance even mean?
Not a clue. I considered Googling it, but I decided not to. But it sounds like you are.
Yeah. No, it immediately when I write in the word recreance, it says recreance stormlight, so I don't know.
Yeah, don't go farther than that.
Yeah. I think it might be a made up word. I'm not sure.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Mm.
Read the book, unite them. And it's so annoying when he asks, "What do you mean the way of kings?" And the figure just doesn't answer him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there another book? I mean, what other book would it be? But anyway, rude. And then immediately the fighting starts.
Yeah, they're immediately fighting over these blades. It's like, screw the fact that we were together 5 minutes ago. It's like, well, now there's shard blades. It's every man for himself.
Yeah. And again, I think there's something cyclical about it, and there's something literary going on here
Mm-hmm.
to clue into.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wakes up from his vision.
Yep.
He's tired. Adolin and Renarin are like, "You're speaking gibberish," and it makes us uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But Adolin starts in again with the, "You don't need to abdicate. Don't do it." But what's important here is Dalinar articulates that he no longer believes that the voice is the Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
yeah,
he actually says he thinks it's a herald.
yes. And that sort of plays into this thing I had mentioned last week. I said, I think the voice is an ardent, but like higher up in the chain. So, like, in the way that the Pope isn't necessarily an altar boy or a bishop or so on, I think the
Mm-hmm.
voice is some very high up thing. I don't know that it's a herald yet. It could
Mm-hmm.
be if the Everstorm is coming and we're expecting the heralds to come back. It could be, what was it, Tolinel?
The one that remained, as in that
Yeah,
was that, yeah, that would be left to be the only one fighting because
yeah,
he did not get to abandon because they're supposed to all die and go back to, I suppose they go back to desolation or whatever it's called, damnation, and then they come back. So he's the only one that's stuck still in the cycle of the Oath Pact.
yes,
So it could be that one. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. It's not impossible, and I don't know yet if it's probable, but it
Mm-hmm.
is definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot think of any other possibilities at the moment. I think he's our only real suspect, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. He's taken it at face value that the visions are true, but he's starting to doubt certain things about them, and he invokes the old magic. And obviously, last week we got a bit more information on the Night Watcher, who the Night Watcher
Mm-hmm.
is, what she does. Clearly, that was to set the foundation for this conversation right here, I think, which is
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah, I'm so glad it happened so quickly.
Yeah. So the big question is, did Dalinar go to the Night Watcher to forget his wife, or was forgetting his wife the
Curse.
the curse? Yeah, because here's sort of the weird thing. Adolin and Renarin don't know what he asked for, and they don't seem to know about the curse.
Mm-hmm.
Dalinar uh, so I find it hard to believe that Adolin and Renarin never talked to their dad about their mother. That seems really
Mm-hmm.
weird to me. I imagine a situation in which they do talk to him and he just forgets those conversations happen, maybe. I could see that being a sort of workaround here to that. but the fact that they don't know casts doubt on my presumption that the boon was that he forget his wife. And now
So
I
you
think it could be the
initially,
curse.
yeah, I was wondering I think it might be the curse because I just I don't know why he would go and ask to forget his wife. It's like, oh, is it because it's pain and it's kind of like a sunshine of the that one, eternal mind or something like that. That thing,
Hmm.
no, yeah, I don't know if that's what he was looking for. And then what would be the blessing? Would it be
Right.
shard plates, all of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Now,
don't think so because it seems like he was already blessed anyway.
yeah, I don't think it was. Dalinar doesn't seem like necessarily like the type, at least not the current Dalinar that we know. Doesn't seem like the type to go ask the Night Watcher for shard plate. I doubt that's the case.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, and also just remember we got this bit of this the way that this gift and curse thing works is like, it depends on what she judges your request as. So
Hmm.
is if it's good, you don't get that bad of a punishment. But I was thinking, okay, could it be that he goes there to like try and save his wife from sickness and fine, the wife is saved, but he can't remember her. So she's
That
alive, but he wouldn't
that
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that throws a monkey wrench in the Navani seduction. Because
Yes.
would Navani seduce Dalinar if the wife were alive and there, and he
Hmm.
just can't perceive her, like the
No.
silence?
Yeah. No, but I mean, no, I'm not thinking that she was there. It's that she's alive, but she gets like, she also
Hmm,
has, she becomes like, she also can't remember her previous life,
gotcha.
So I mean, it could be, it's all magic, so it could, anything is possible, yeah.
Right. So Dalinar brings up the old magic to highlight that he doesn't necessarily know what's going on. He's become skeptical and wants to do some investigating, and they decide to start writing down they talk about what happens in the visions. Again, I was a little surprised on my first read through that they haven't had this conversation before talking about what's in the visions, but I think you suitably talked me sort of away from that initial surprise.
Hmm.
But they talk about what happens. They determine to ask Navani to write down the details and go to Yasna to do a bit of research. And
Hmm.
Adolin, poor sweet, not ready to be the Bright Lord Adolin, is like, you have plenty of scribes you can ask. And Dalinar doesn't yet trust them. And it's not that he doesn't trust them, he doesn't want word getting back to the officers. It's not like a Peter Baelish type thing that he's afraid of, although I think that is there a little bit. It's more playing into that embarrassment of seeming weak element.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, well, why don't you just, say, oh, I'm transcribing a story or whatever. It's just, it would be a weak excuse.
Hmm.
Like, why suddenly does this warlord want to tell stories? It just doesn't make sense. So that would not be a strong enough lie for me.
Yeah.
I was worried that they were gonna go for Adelin's girlfriend because I was like, no, 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 we
Mm.
already don't like her. We already don't trust her.
There's already a new one, though,
Yeah, I don't know, but
isn't
like
there?
I don't know if she's new or if she's the same one, because she's got a mind in her head. His aunt says, and she went and even bought melons for him to help him seduce her, like because
Yeah.
that's the way to a woman's heart. So yeah, I was worried about that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, duh, it makes sense that they would trust Navani with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, I've got my Navani casting all lined up for our Way of Kings casting
Mm.
when and if we ever actually get to it. And I'm
Hmm.
so excited for it.
I was last night I was seeing because we're watching a Below Deck, so it's a reality TV. So all I had in my head were all of these characters from, well, that they're not characters, they're actual people from the TV show. So every one of them was taking on these. So my casting wasn't even it last, like when I last went through this, my casting was real people. Like the captain and everything. It was, I was like, stop it. It wouldn't go, it wouldn't get out of my head.
Excellent. I cannot
Mhm.
wait. So they invite Navani, and she plays her cards very close to the vest. It very much, you can see how Yasna takes after her mother. She
Mhm.
withholds judgment. She refuses to comment until she's had time to think and consider
Mhm.
and consult with Yasna,
Mhm. Yeah.
which I think is wise. It makes me like Navani a bit more.
I have something to say with Adolin, right? With this
Mm-hmm.
whole idea of, okay, fine, our thing to do now is to figure out whether they're true or not, okay? And already we've got Adolin who's probably not going to accept any proof because he goes, well, you could have heard of this. You could have heard of Feverstone Keep. Even if Yasna says nobody would have heard of Feverstone Keep. It's in like the Palladium or
Men
the
don't
whatever.
read.
Yeah, like but also he would have heard of it from somebody
Hmm.
who spoke about it, okay? I feel like Adolin's gonna have that kind of cope when we have
I
truth.
agree.
And Renarin will believe it.
Ooh, that would be really interesting if there's a division
Mm.
between the brothers over this.
Yeah. Mm.
Ooh, I like it.
Because Adlin just wants it to be the easy way out is, yeah, my dad's just seeing things and it's just a figment of his imagination. And yeah, just dad, just, like you said, just compartmentalize your Alzheimer's. Like just do that and continue. Yeah, so he's showing his spoiled bratness and his unpreparedness in this chapter, and it makes me think Renarin is a lot more intelligent than him.
Yes. So then Navani helps play wingman to Adolin in an
Mm-hmm.
effort to get Dalinar alone, and I thought that was an enjoyable interaction. She went and got some melons for the girlfriend. I really liked I would hate to think I put in all this work only to find out something you already knew. But also,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like something Adolin should have already known if he were serious about the girl.
Well, I don't think he would know because he's just so flighty and whatever. So he's.
I agree.
I wondered if she was playing a trick on him by lying
I
and
don't think
saying
so.
and saying that she likes them, and then he goes there with this, and
Hmm.
then it's like she's like, "Ew, this is my worst thing," just just to mess it up.
That would be so funny. Really.
But yeah, I also like the way Dalinar, when he's considering speaking to her, he's, well, telling her about all of it. He says she'll use the information to manipulate him, but she would keep it secret. So he knows that her she's going to be using her wiles, and it is
Yes.
difficult, but he still does trust her.
Yeah, and that's the big
Yeah.
thing. So Adolin leaves and they get their moment alone and she shoots her shot. She shoots it pretty hard, but Dalinar comes in with the very, very strong I will not be made a hypocrite. I hold everyone
Mm-hmm.
to an extremely high standard, and without my duty and honor, I am nothing. And I think
Mm.
that's really devastating for Navani. I felt really, really bad for Navani because it took such a journey for Dalinar to become the man that Navani would want to be. And clearly, Dalinar loved
Mm-hmm.
Navani, or at least was very, very infatuated with her. And all it took was him becoming a person that couldn't possibly be with her in order for them to want to be together or need to be together or something to that effect. I'm trying to
I
articulate.
don't I don't feel like he was deficient, and that's why she didn't want him initially. I think she was not ready for him. Because she says she was scared of him and all of that. So I do see that him growing into a better man does. I can see what you mean, that it would make her want him. And what you're saying is like him becoming that man means that he won't be with her because he's
Yeah.
got too much integrity. So it keeps him away from her. So I see what you mean there, but yeah, the way I saw it was she went with the safer option with his brother. And yeah, he definitely was very much in love with her to the point where he almost hated his own brother because of it,
Mm-hmm.
because she had chosen him. But yeah, he's got some willpower, and he was like, and he does admit that, damn, if she tried one more time, I would not have been able to resist.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day, come on.
Yeah. What can I say? I thought this was an excellent chapter. I think Dalinar might be my favorite POV.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I love Kaladin, but yeah, Dalinar is incredible.
Yeah. Anything else to say on the chapter?
Nothing on the chapter, but I will say like the video.
If you like. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you, Kitty, for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we'll see you next time. Okay, thanks,
Okay,
bye.
thanks, bye.